Let's have a look. So this is cylinder 6. Welcome back to Living with a Classic. And once again, we're out behind my farm with this 1964 3.4S or a Jaguar S type. It's a parts car for my 1966 one that I'm restoring. Last video on this car, it had just arrived here on the farm on a flatbed. And I just, went over it, showed you guys a little bit about it. And we also found out that the engine is seized. It has oil in it, and it's pretty complete. Got the plugs out, but it's not turning over by hand. So I thought in today's video we'd have a closer look at the engine. I haven't done anything since that last video. It's about a week later. I've been busy with other projects here on the channel, but I thought we'd take a small little camera, have a look inside each of the bores, see if we can see anything. Hopefully no surface rust, but just want to know what I can see. If that looks pretty fine, I'm going to fill the cylinders with a homemade brew of acetone and ATF. Let that sit, and I'm going to come and check that every single day for a while, and we'll see what that turns into if we can get the turn. But that will then be in a future video. I also thought that we'd see if we can actually get into the boot. It is completely locked. The unlock button is basically gone, and it's stuck. Haven't tried anything yet, but I don't know what's in there. Maybe there's some cool treasures hiding behind there. I'm really hoping that there's carbs, but won't have my hopes up. We'll see if we can find anything in there, or maybe it's just completely empty. But first, let's just grab that little camera, have a look inside the engine, and see what that looks like. Got my little endoscope here. It's a very cheap model, but it works well enough, hopefully. Hopefully we'll just be able to see some things in there. Once again, I'm using it on my laptop, so I can't really see that well out here, but so maybe my commentary will be a little weird, but we'll see later when I review the footage. But I will hit record here. And let's have a look. So this is cylinder 6. And it seems like the piston is pretty much at the top. It's very carbony looking. And I can't really see the sides. Looks like a little bit of rust or debris there. It's really hard to tell. Cylinder 5 is further down. And I'm going to see if I can adjust the contrast. It's pretty much as good as I can get it. Maybe when I'm inside I can see the cylinder wall there a little bit, but right now I can just see basically the piston. Number 4. Once again, I can't see too much out here, but I'm hoping you guys will be able to see more, and I'll be able to see more inside when I edit this. Moving on to number 3. I'm not seeing any holes in the pistons, at least. That's basically what I can tell. Number 2. Yeah, it's a little hard to tell. And last but not least, number 1. So, yeah, I mean, it doesn't really look too bad, at least from what I can tell from the footage here. It's very hard for me to tell on the laptop screen out here, but I'll have to see when I review the footage. So I'll probably put some written notes that you've already seen over all of this. Now I'm going to mix up some of that acetone and ATF, just 50-50, fill up those cylinders, and we'll let that soak for a while, and then we'll see if we can get into the boot. If you Google how to unstick a seized engine, there's so many different ways that people are trying different things. However, I think the most successful way, and also one of the cheapest ways, is to use ATF and acetone. Just mix it 50-50. That's what I've done. I haven't used a nice brand of ATF. This is just an old bottle. I used a cheap brand of generic ATF and just some normal acetone. ATF is a good lubricant, also has a lot of detergents in it, so it's good at cleaning, and it's really good at getting into tight places and running down. And then when you mix it with acetone, it gets even thinner, and it can pour down. So basically it's the rings that are stuck into the bore, and you want to get lubrication between there and break up that stuckness and get them to move. However, just to be completely clear, I still plan on restoring this engine if I'm using this one. I do have a 3.8 as well, which does rotate over, but it has some other issues as well. It has some broken off spark plugs, so both of them would need to be taken apart to restore. I haven't chosen which one to use yet, but I want to see if I can get this one to rotate over. You guys seem to really want to see that, and also I think it's a lot easier to disassemble an engine if it's actually rotating, it just makes life a lot easier. So we're going to see if we can actually do that. Also, it's fun to see if we can actually get this thing to spin over. I just have a small little funnel, and we're going to fill each one. So you see, it's very, very thin stuff. That's all the way up to the top. And I did shake this up right before I pour this in. Can you hear that? That's sort of filling up. That's enough. There we go. Try not to make so much of a mess. And I realized I didn't really need the funnel at all. In the end, I've cleaned up this whole area around it. But all of them are now full with a mixture of ATF and acetone. And I'm going to let that sit for at least a week, probably more. I'll put the plugs in just loosely and so it doesn't evaporate. And then I'll check back on this in a few days. But now, let's go around to the back and see if we can get that boot open. All the plugs are just loosely in now just to make sure it doesn't evaporate that quickly. It's not that hot really at the moment, but I do want it to sit in there and work. We'll be back with this in a future video. But like I said, let's see if we can get into that boot. I'm a little curious. It is a rusty panel down here, so if I do need to get creative to get it open, that's not an issue. It is definitely stuck. There's a small little button in here that you need to push in, which then moves a rod here, which goes out into the two locks over here. So I have a little screwdriver. We can start by trying with that. Here. So you see the tools are getting from simple to a hammer to let's just get it open pry bar. Okay, so there is a little thing down here. No, but that's completely stuck up there. And yeah, it's not going to move back there. I think that is a little bit of a lost cause. However, since it's pushed in, which means the latches should not actually be in the lock position. I mean, I can't get it any more pushed in than it is right now. Maybe if I just hit around this area with a hammer, and this end doesn't really seem to be in all the way. And it's a little crusty over here, so maybe if I hit it here, the whole locking mechanism is a little loose. But let's try that with a hammer. If not, I have the pry bar. Or, I mean, it's a mallet. Let's see. Nothing there. Alright, I'm going to give it a whack. Let's see what happens. It's moving. Oh, wow. There we go. And like I said, it doesn't matter. This panel is just too rusty. The panel on my car I'm restoring is in absolute perfect condition. So you saw all that rust come out there. But I mean, I will save these things such as the latches and things. So I guess that one was barely latching on. Now you see it's actually moving. And that one's frozen up. But I'll remove those and save those. I'm going to save all of this as well. Maybe I won't need it, but maybe other people need these things. You see, there's that rod mechanism. So all of that is completely stuck. But this worked. And let's see what we have in here. Okay, we have a radiator, which looks to be for this car. I do have one from the other one, but it's good to have a spare. I'm getting mine recorded anyways, and all right, the drain is broken off, so I guess this is pretty much just a throwaway. Yeah, but it's good to have. These look like they're the edges and some type of fan shroud. I don't think I have a fan shroud on mine, so that could be a good thing. Good thing to have. Wonder what that is made of. Maybe it's some, this is from the 60s. It might be some asbestos thing, or because it looks very much like glass fiber, which is probably asbestos thing. I'm not gonna, at least it's not broken. For some reason, we have a bunch of wood in here. Maybe this car was sitting propped up on wood at some point. So, because that definitely looks like it's had some oil or something on it. Very strange. But maybe, maybe it was sitting on wood at some point. Wiring harness looks pretty complete back here. Oh, we have the fuel pumps. So the twin SU fuel pumps, one there, one over there. That's good. I mean, I have a ton of those laying around, but it's always good to have some spares. And then we have a piece of house electrical cable. We have a plastic bag, just been chewed by mice. All right, very interesting. We have a cable of some sort. Maybe they towed the car with this at some point. I don't know. We have the generator, which is a good thing. I'm probably not going to use it because I have the generator on mine with the power steering pump in the back, and I want to still use the power steering, but good spare thing to have. I'll leave that up there. And then we got some, come on, move over. We got some of those triangles you put up when you're broken down, labeled from old Fords. So that's interesting. And then we got a rubber seal. Let's see if maybe we have a spare in here. We do have a spare and a jack. Oh wow, that is the baldest tire I have ever seen. Just have a look at that. That's a racing slick right there. It is a Michelin 205/70/15 XWX radial. And once again, it's not really something I need. I have wire wheels on my car, so I can't use these wheels anyways. But an extra jack is good to have. I believe I have one with my car, and there's some more wiring down there. So I'm a little disappointed, to be honest. I was hoping to have an inlet manifold, carbs, or some other engine component back here, but got some wood and a possible fan shroud I may use. But at least I was able to get it open. I was very curious for a long time what was in here, and no one really knew, so now we all know. In case you're wondering what's in the car, we just had a quick look at it last time, but it isn't really much. There is a seat frame, which I guess I'll keep for the mechanism. There is a bumper, which I will keep just as a spare. It needs to be re-chromed. The whole interior, all the carpets and everything are in these bags. So they're just getting thrown away. I don't even think I'm going to go through it because it's probably going to be covered in mouse turds and other things. Up there is the air filter box. I do have a very nice one, but that is a good spare one. Maybe someone else needs one. And I mean, that's pretty much it. Dash is gone. The wheel is there. It's not in the greatest shape, so that's going to be an ornament hanging on the wall in my workshop. And yeah, door cards, got 3 out of 4 door cards, but once again, I'm not really using them. But honestly, a little bit disappointed about there not being any carbs back there. That would be nice to have some extra carbs. I do have a couple laying around, so I have what I need, but it's always nice with some extra SUs. But I think what you see up here is what I've got. And like we mentioned in the last video, I'm grabbing the glass, the chrome, some small body things, the front and rear end, the engine, the gearbox, a couple of things, and the rest is either going to someone else who needs some parts, or it's going, sadly, it's going to the scrapyard. That's going to be the end of the road for this car, but it will help bring another one which is in much nicer shape back on the road. And that's it for this video. Join me in a future video on this car where we'll see if we can get that engine to turn. I'm not going to promise anything. I will try the ATF and acetone now. I may try some diesel as well and some other things down there, and some gentle persuasion with a big pry bar up in the front, and a big breaker bar up on the front pulley there, and see if we can get it to turn over. I really hope it can. If not, I will still take it out. And if you guys want to, there will be then a future video of taking that engine apart and seeing what it looks like inside. And I'll probably open up my 3.8 as well, or if this one ends up looking not that nice inside, I will open up my 3.8 before I make up mine which one I will restore. If this one looks nice inside, I think I might sell my 3.8 as it is and use this one. But let me know if you want to see any more content on that engine in a future video down in the comments down below. Anyways, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. It really does help out a lot. Anyways, until next time, I'm Adam, and this was Living with a Classic. I'll see you soon.